But can all the talent on your roster pull off outside stories? From an acting standpoint, from a believability standpoint?
Some can, some can't.
Right.
It depends on the talent. It really does. And that's why you have to get inside the talent's head and find things that they can relate to. Find things that make them pop. It's CM Punk. Nobody understood CM Punk. Nobody had a clue. Here's a guy with Pepsi tattoo on his arm. Skinny Muay Thai shit. Nobody knew what it was about. Nobody knew anything about him. That guy doesn't drink. He doesn't do drugs. I hate him. Everybody made fun of him because they didn't understand him. We went up in the stands, took one camera, me and Punk, and I just asked him all those questions. Why the Pepsi tattoo? What's this shit? What's this Society X thing that you do? I mean, why? And he told me why he doesn't drink, why he doesn't do drugs. Told me the stories of his tattoos. None of which I would have related to, but the way he told me the stories was very interesting to me because he's an interesting enough guy that you want to know. I want to know more about him. Instead of just sitting back and going, that guy's different, that guy's strange, next. Ask. And then you find out all these things.
Why didn't anybody before that? Is the roster too big that we can't pay individualized attention to everybody?
A lot of times, yeah. And if you're going to stand out on your own. And he was standing out, but in the wrong way.
Right.
And no one had embraced the fact that, and it took the kids back at the studio who were his age, who understood that part of society. We didn't, God, man, we're 40-year-old guys that exercise. What the? So you're going to go to a club, but you're not going to drink? Why go to the club? Just stay home if you're not going to drink. That was the mentality.
It got pretty close when they did the whole thing with him kind of shooting on the company and sitting up on the ramp and talk. And it looked like, I watched again for the first time in a long time then, because I was like, oh, wow, they play this right. They could make everybody guess again. We hadn't had to guess in wrestling for a very long time. Oh, maybe we can suspend disbelief a little bit. Send him, make him show up at all these little indies all over the country and disrespect the company. Keep him off TV 6 months a year. And a month later, it was over. He was back. Well, why'd we rush it? Chasing a rating or what?
Okay. I'll give you my analogy of a television show. Okay. It's not suitable for all audiences here. Okay.
Only the mentally deranged watch this show.
Okay.
So don't worry. Ed Gein.
But I liken a good television show to sex. You take a girl out, okay, you have a nice romantic evening, you go have some fun, have a few drinks, then get her back to your place, you have a little foreplay, and you play around a little bit, and then you start to actually get into the lovemaking, and you take your time, and you make sure everybody feels good, and everybody gets to the point, then you're in the act, and it all builds to hopefully a great climax. And then you're, but you want more. But you're exhausted from that, and you want more. And I've said this to Vince, so it won't come as any big surprise, but Vince sometimes would just want to stick his dick in and come for 2 hours.
That's a wonderful analogy. And CM Punk was a blowjob in an elevator, wasn't it?
Basically, yes. And so sometimes it moves so fast that you're not allowed the time to enjoy it and savor it, because you're on to the next thing. You've got so many hours that you have to pump out. And I mean, who else can produce 8 hours of new programming, original programming, week in, week out, no off season, 52 weeks a year? Mm-hmm. That in and of itself is pretty amazing.
Yes. No,
the
grind is...
It's just a difference in how you tell those stories and whether or not you want to invest the time and have the patience to let everything play out.